So you're thinking of moving to Austin, Texas, but you need to know the cost of living before you pack your bags and make the move. Today we're going to go over what it actually costs to live in Austin. Anywhere from housing to utilities to groceries and entertainment. Also, at the end, stay tuned because I'm going to give a couple hidden costs of what people really love to do in Austin, and I'm going to break that down for you. Also, I'm going to reveal a few free things that people love to do here in Austin. All right, let's get into it. All right, starting from the top, we're going to speak about what has made Austin less affordable year over year, and that is housing. If you're looking at the average home price of purchasing a home, you're looking anywhere from around the $550,000 range is about average, and that is in the actual city of Austin. If you go on the outskirts, you can definitely find homes anywhere from $300,000 to $400,000, a lot more affordable, a little bit more bang for your buck, depending on the size of the house, how far outside of Austin you're comfortable with being, and just location. If you're looking at renting an apartment in Austin, and we're gonna kind of just stay focused in Austin, I'm gonna make a different video on the affordability of the outskirts of Austin because I think there's so much to cover with that. So an apartment in Austin, 1 bedroom, 900 square feet and under, you're looking at $14.94 a month for an apartment in Austin. If you're looking for a single family home to rent, a 2-bedroom on average is about $18.58 per month, and if you're looking for a 3-bedroom house, they usually average about $2,500 a month. So again, that is the average cost for the city of Austin. Now, the cost of living in Austin is approximately 7% higher than the state average. Austin is the most expensive in the state of Texas. Now, the increase is largely driven by the housing costs. That's really what has driven the cost of living here in Austin. Now, Austin is 1% higher than the national average, but if you do look at the larger cities, like a lot of people are moving from different parts of California, Seattle, Colorado, New York City, and some of the really large cities, Austin is still below average when it comes to the big major cities in the US. But if you look at the national average, we are about 1% over the national average. And again, the most expensive city in Texas. Now, if we're looking at the average income here in Austin, it's about $78,965. If you look at Texas as a whole, which, as you know, Texas is pretty big. So looking at the full state of Texas, the average income is about $50,000 per year. All right, now on to utility bills. So utility bills, obviously, because of our extreme weather change throughout the year, varies from winter to summertime. So on average, Austin spends about $219 per month on electricity. That's probably average of a 2-bedroom house or apartment. Now, and that's below, I would say, 2,000 square feet. Now, if you look at a house that's 2,500 to, let's say, 3,000, 3,500 square feet, you're obviously probably going to double that. That also depends on the age of the home and how energy efficient it is. So if you have, for instance, windows that are 20, 30, 40 plus years old, obviously you're going to have a higher electric bill. If you have a newer, more energy efficient windows and like a new construction home, then you're probably looking at, saving quite a bit of money. And again, this is the city of Austin. Utilities vary from city of Austin to, let's say, Hayes County or Williamson County. All right, so one of the biggest impacts on affordability when it comes to a house in Texas is property taxes. So as you might know, Texas does not have state taxes. So they pick up cost in property taxes. Our average property tax is about 2 to 3%, and that depends on what part of the city you live in and if you're looking at newer developments. So if you're looking at a master plan community development, whether it's in Austin or even on the outskirts of Austin, you're probably looking at a property tax rate between 2 and 3%, probably closer to that 3% mark. Now, what plays a part in that tax is, well, one of the biggest ones is the schools. And then the other one is what we call a MUD or a PID, which is like the utility district. And that is another part of the tax that plays into the property tax. And what that is when they're building a new development, they have to finance water, sewer, drainage, and sometimes road infrastructure within a community. So they add that into the property tax. And, you know, with all these new developments, some within Austin, but a ton of new developments all throughout the suburbs of Austin, you'll see different MUD tax, PID tax, school taxes, depending on, you know, just where you're at, what grade the school is, as far as, you know, A-rated schools compared to maybe a B or C-rated school, and then, you know, what all is included into that master plan community. So that's something that you should really pay attention to if you are looking to buy new construction. All right, the next one we're going to speak about is transportation. So I have spoke about this a little bit in a different video, but Austin has different tolls. It's the Mopac Expressway. We have 130, we have 45, we have Ben White, we have 290. We have tolls in Austin and surrounding Austin that helps the commute through Austin and getting around to the different suburbs of Austin. That being said, the average toll, whether you're exiting or I like to call it a checkpoint, when you're going through that big flashing light, every time you pass one of those, they're charging either your toll tag, which I highly recommend you get one if you plan on coming to Austin often or you plan on moving here to Austin. Get a toll tag because it saves you, I think, about 20% per exit or checkpoint. So they average about $1 or $2 every time you go through one of those. Now, the Mopac Expressway, which they don't even call it a tollway, they call it the expressway, it can vary depending on how much traffic is on the road. So it goes as low as, I believe, 25 to 50 cents, but going from Palmer Lane to Cesar Chavez, which is North Austin to downtown, is about $5.45. And if you're going in the evening, it's closer to $8. So if you go all the way from Palmer down to South Austin or just past downtown, you could spend, you know, I've seen it go up to like $12. So be very careful when traveling on Mopac. Yes, I ride the express lane a lot. It's very convenient, but it is a lot more costly and the most expensive tollway that we have here in the Austin area. Now, if you're looking to move to Austin, there is something to know, and that is more than likely, no matter what part of Austin you live in, you'll need a vehicle. And why I say that, because Austin is pretty spread out. Now, Austin is becoming more and more bike friendly, and a lot of people ride their bikes, a lot of people commute on their bikes. There's a lot of pedestrian and bike lanes, but Austin is pretty spread out. And with the amount of traffic, we don't have a great transit system here. So we have the rail, we have the Capital Metro bus system, but overall, if you're in the downtown area or pretty close to the central hub, yes, you can ride a bus. If you're coming from Leander to downtown, they do have the rail that runs, but overall, for most people, it's best to have a vehicle. And with that, there's a cost. So the national average of gas is $3.54. We usually have pretty cheap gas compared to the national average. So right now we're about $2.90 to $3, and that is July of 2024. Another part of driving is car insurance. Now, car insurance in Texas overall is pretty expensive, and the average cost stands about $2,400 for full coverage per year. And if you have minimum coverage, like just liability, you don't have a loan on your vehicle, it's about $680 per year. Now, if you have a teenager, teen drivers pay some of the highest average rates in Texas. A 16-year-old driver on their parents' policy pays about $5,000 per year for full coverage. So if you're moving to Austin and you have a kid that is driving, this is definitely something to take into account. So definitely something to think about. The average in Austin, which is 6% less than the average across Texas, is about $187 average per month. All right, so another thing that definitely has gone up, especially after COVID, is food. So groceries are, depending on how big your family is, where you shop. Is it H-E-B? Is it Walmart? Is it Sprouts? It really depends on if you obviously buy organic or not, but the average cost in Austin for a single person is about $200 to $300 a month. And for a family of 4, you're looking at about $800 to $1,200 per month for groceries. This translates to about $200 to $300 per week for a family of 4. Now, being a single person, I probably spend about $300 a month. That's probably about accurate. I eat a pretty healthy lifestyle and I cook a lot of my own food. So I spend probably on the higher end, as I do eat at home a lot more. So again, that depends on how often you eat at home. And someone like myself, I eat at home about at least 4 or 5 days a week. All right, another big cost to think about if you've got kiddos is childcare. So I personally don't have kids, but my brother has children. All my siblings have kiddos, and I know childcare can be very costly. The average childcare cost is about $800 to $1,200 per kid, and that really depends on what area you're in, what style of childcare facility it is, what's all included in that childcare facility. Now, again, if you're on the outskirts of Austin, south of Austin, north of Austin, you can probably find more affordable childcare there. Or if you find somebody that's more independently contracted as far as a childcare or nanny, then you might be able to save some costs there as well. All right, and then just real quick, we're gonna go over health insurance. So health insurance on average, and now this can vary from just all across the board, but it's usually it's about $250 to $300 per month per person. It is very expensive here in Texas as far as healthcare. The average doctor visit is anywhere from $100 to $200. And, if you work for a big corporation and, they typically take care of part of the cost, all of the cost. It really depends on the company. And then if you've got a spouse or kids, you can add them to that, and you can usually save quite a bit of cost. But if you're an independent contractor like myself, or just an entrepreneur through, any services, whether you're a photographer, content creator, lender, etc., then obviously, it's a lot more costly. So yeah, you're looking probably more towards the $250 to $300. All right, if you're into health and fitness, the average gym membership in Austin is about $68 a month, and that can go up to about $200 per month if you're looking at a gym like Regimen or Lifetime Fitness. Now, I go to a free weight gym here in South Austin. It's about $65 or $67 a month. If you're looking at like Crunch or Golds or, one of those types of corporate gyms, I think they average about $30 or $40 per month. If you look at Lifetime Fitness, which is probably the biggest gym in Austin, they have a swimming pool, pickleball courts. I think they've got basketball courts. They've got a swimming pool outside. They have daycare. They have trainers. They have everything you can possibly, it's like a resort. And those average, I think, about $180 to $200 per month. So depending on what you need out of a gym will depend on how much you pay per month. All right, now let's go over the entertainment. Now, there's tons of things to do in Austin, from going downtown to going to the Domain, South Congress, the Manchac Entertainment District, St. Elmo area. There's so much to do in Austin. Even on the outskirts of Austin, every suburb city has its own little downtown and entertainment. But speaking of just Austin, there's so much to do. And stay tuned to the end, because I'm gonna go over some free things to do. And also, don't forget, I am a local real estate agent here in Austin, Texas. And if you need any help or have any questions about moving to Austin, my information is going to be on the screen, and there also will be a link below to book a one-on-one call. All right, let's get back to it. So entertainment, if you're looking at an average night out for 2, you're probably looking at about $150 to $200. And that also depends, obviously, if you're drinking or not drinking. But the average meal costs about $35. An average mixed drink costs about $15. And a tap beer is roughly about $6. Now, there's tons of great happy hours all over Austin. If you need any suggestions, reach out. I've got you. I can send you a few. But there's a lot of great happy hours that can save you some money, and some really cool, unique places around Austin. All right, now if you're looking to paddleboard, something that people love to do, if you ever go to Ladybird Lake on the evening, weekend, or summertime, it's packed. And it's a beautiful lake to paddleboard, to watch the sunset, to just kind of stroll, through the lake, it's about $23 per hour or $45 per day. Now, if you have your own paddleboard or your own kayak, there are many places that you can drop your board in. So if you decide to invest into a board or a kayak, then you can drop in for free. Something that has become huge in Austin and something I personally love doing is pickleball. Pickleball has grown rapidly over the last couple years, and on average per hour is about $35. And there's a great handful of places all over town, and if you split this in between 2 to 4 people, depending on how good you are on the court, then it's not that expensive. So it's a lot of fun. It's a great outdoor activity. All right, there's some big events that come to Austin every year, and ACL is one of them. Now, year over year, it goes up $20-30 on average. So this year for a day pass, it's $165, and for a weekend pass, it's about $345. Now, they also have the F1 races that come up every year, the motocross races, there's the monster trucks, tons of live music, and an average concert is probably about $100 to $200 per ticket, depending on who the entertainer is. So again, tons of stuff to do in Austin, but some stuff just comes at a cost. All right, so we're getting towards the end, and as promised, some of the free things to do in Austin, I'll put a link below that has over 100 plus things to do in Austin, and some of them being Zilker Park is one of them. It has a playground. It has tons of walking space. You can walk to the Barton Springs pool. And speaking of the Barton Springs pool, they do free swims between 5 and 8 a.m. if you're an early bird, or I believe they do late swims from like 9 to 10 p.m. or 9 to 11 p.m. if you're looking to swim for free. There's a festival that comes here every year. It's one of my favorites. It's the Pecan Street Festival. It's downtown. It's actually what 6th Street used to be called years and years ago. That's where the festival got its name. Really cool artsy festival, and so much to do, and it's a full weekend. Farmers markets, there's over 10 or 15 farmers markets, not just in Austin, but on the suburb cities. You can walk the farmers markets, obviously pay for the goods, but there's tons of farmers markets to support local, which I really love doing. Hike and bike trails, there are so many hike and bike trails in Austin. There's the Greenbelt. There are trails all through Austin that connect to the whole hub without even having to get on a main road. Pretty cool. So that's something that people really love about Austin is being outdoors, and you can walk the lake downtown, and there's a trail that goes around the whole entire lake. And then outside of that, there's just hike and bike trails everywhere all over Austin. And then there's Peace Park that has a free splash pad. They just did a whole revamp of Peace Park. It is really awesome. So you got to check that out. I can't even explain to you like in words what it looks like, but it's something great for family, and it's a free park to go to. They also do like free events. I think they do like free yoga. They do like volunteering. They do just, different things throughout the spring and summertime. And then the Thinkery. So the Thinkery is a really cool kids like museum, science museum style. And they do free community nights between 3 and 5 p.m. on Sundays. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and the like button if you got anything out of this video. And I look forward to seeing you on the next.